Alright, welcome everyone to the top 8 from the Des Plaines, Illinois City Championship. I'm Kyle Sucevich. With me is Michael Pramawat, and we will have Matt Moss versus Quinn Downs. Are you excited for this top 8 match?
Yeah, it looks like a really interesting matchup. We have Quinn playing Eelektrik, and we have Matt playing straight Darkrai with a little Mewtwo in it.
Yeah. So what do you think about that kind of a matchup? I mean, historically we've seen Darkrai kind of dominate Eelektrik, but what do you think?
I really think it's going to come down to what techs are in the Eelektrik deck.
Yeah.
You know, if it's like fire energies and just straight Rayquaza, then like you can have a lot of Rayquaza one-shots. But if it's like Prism energy, then that opens the door for a whole nother dimension of tech cards like Terrakion. You know, that even includes like Shaman.
Terrakion would be the big one.
Yeah.
Alright, well I guess let's just get ready to They've started already.
Okay, hey.
So what do you know? Looks like Matt's going first. I'll have a Sableye and a Darkrai. And he Junipered away some stuff we can't see, but there's a Dark, so that's always good.
Yeah, this is always like the ideal start for Darkrai, definitely. You know, you start with Sableye, you get an energy on it, and then you get you just reuse your trainers over and over until you like set up completely. And ooh, we even see a Dark Patch coming up, so.
That's perfect.
Oh, he did discard the Mewtwo, so if Quinn plays Mewtwo and just kind of goes ham with it, we could see like a crazy situation.
Yeah, one thing though is Matt does run like enhanced hammers and crushing hammers. So if Quinn ever loads up like a Mewtwo, then he can just remove the energy. It won't ever really knock out a Darkrai in one hit.
Okay. So let's just kind of see what he. Oh, he goes for the Confuse Ray.
Ooh, I actually like this.
Yeah.
It's going to set up. I mean, Moss going first, so Quinn can't possibly evolve on the first turn. So it's going to set up a turn 2. If as long as he doesn't get paralyzed, you can Catcher the other Dynamo and then Night Spear and knock out 2 Dynamos turn 2.
Yeah, and you know, you saw kind of a glimpse of Matt's discard. You didn't really see anything other than the Dark Patch, so not really worth it, the jump hunt here. It's a very nice play.
Yeah, definitely. A lot is going to ride on this paralysis flip. It'll be interesting to see if Quinn plays Victini. That's a card we kind of seen phased out after Keldeo came out, but some people still play it.
Yeah, so it really just comes down to like what Quinn can draw here. He really needs to get some other face.
Oh boy. Thanks, Matt. We'll talk later.
So he plays on the Rayquaza, and here we go.
Thunderwave. Oh, with the heads. That's got to kill Moss on the inside. He will take 10 damage, but the the turn of just not being able to Night Spear is just so painful. When you see right there's 2 Dynamos ready for you to knock out.
Yeah, and this was really the secret to success for this past regionals for the Eelektrik decks.
Oh yeah.
You know, all the Darkrai decks, they were cutting corners, not playing Switch, and all the Eelektrik players kind of realized that and took advantage of it. So it's interesting to see if Moss has anything in store for this situation, or if he just said, hey, you know, this worked before, this will work again.
Yeah. Now, I do know that a couple days ago, Matt actually had Keldeo EX in the Darkrai deck just for this paralysis stuff, so you could rush in and then get out of it. Mm-hmm. But, you know, Eelektrik decks just kind of died out. Pretty much all status effects died out just because Blastoise Keldeo was so popular. And Blastoise undoubtedly has been the most popular deck at the Chicago Marathon so far. So they just switched it to Mewtwo instead. And here's a situation where he's probably thinking, I wish I had Keldeo.
Yeah, you know, the one Keldeo is so nice versus this, but yeah, you are right. There is a lot of Blastoise here, and you know, the Thunder Wave effects, they just don't really do anything versus Keldeo, so that probably doesn't run Victini, you know, we'll see.
Yeah. So we do see a Fire onto the Rayquaza EX, and Quinn will retreat to his other Dynamo. He must have an Eelektrik. Otherwise, that would be suicide.
Yeah, you know, he gets the Eelektrik. However, this is still a pretty fragile situation for Quinn. You know, Night Spear still one-shot Eelektrik. That hasn't changed for the past year, so.
I don't know. He might have Giant Cape.
Oh. I think he's been playing a little bit too much PTCGO here.
Yeah, maybe. But I see Quinn as the kind of guy who would run a giant cape in this kind of a situation. He always runs a little bit of something that's just a little bit different than everybody else. He tries to go out of his way to make his decks a little bit different than other people, maybe catch you off guard. So maybe.
Well, 190 HP Rayquaza is a little bit scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, most people choose Eviolite, but giant cape, that works too.
Well, if that situation does come up, maybe we'll see a Tool Scrapper. But you know, I think generally electric decks tend to like not play tools, and
He's being aggressive and knocking out a Sableye here with his Rayquaza EX.
he really figures that, you know, I can put pressure on early. I can make it so it's very difficult for you to just sit back and build up the ultimate hand with Sableye. And this will put this is a nice play. I kind of like it.
It can be good or it can backfire pretty badly, honestly. He's going to have to discard his only lightning. Honestly, Matt's probably going to get a catcher next turn and knock out his Eelektrik. And he's going to be left with a Rayquaza with just a fire. And it might even get removed by Crushing Hammer. So he could leave himself in a very vulnerable spot, but he is being aggressive.
Yeah, but I think at the same time, you know, maybe he figures that, hey, if that's going to happen anyways, I might as well get a prize out of it. I might be able to end into myself into more Dynamos. You know, there's a whole lot of situations that could improve Quinn's field, but we'll see how Matt responds to this aggression.
Yeah, if he doesn't have a catcher, then this is going to be amazing for him, honestly. Just hitting Rayquaza for 90 isn't really the greatest thing in the world. Sure, it's a two-hit knockout, but you do open up the door for some kind of a crazy play with like 2 switches or something like that. Get 2 Electrics out, maybe even a Sky Arrow and a switch.
Now, an interesting note from Matt is he does play Dark Claw.
Yep.
So, you know, Rayquaza and Keldeo, they have the same amount of HP, so 170, and Dark Claw with Night Spear makes that math really dangerous.
Yeah, that's true. Although I think Eviolite might actually be better for him in this matchup because it forces Rayquaza EX to discard an extra energy. So we'll see if he wishes he has Eviolite, or maybe he's better off with Dark Claw. I guess we'll find out.
Well, let's see. Does he get the catcher here?
Yeah, he got one.
Yeah. So, advantage Matt a little bit.
I think he got one.
Ooh. And he just benches all 4 Darkrai. Yep,
right.
There it is.
Okay,
So he benches all 4 Darkrai's.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
What do you think of this?
I don't know. It's always like scary to me to bench 4 EXs, but I guess there's no real downside to it. He's gonna have to just use Darkrai from here on out. He doesn't really want to put down another Sableye. The only time it's ever gonna backfire is if like a Darkrai keeps getting catchered, the one without energy, and he just doesn't have an energy to retreat. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I don't see it's a big deal.
I almost feel like this is the Tom Dozel style of Darkrai, where you play the one normal Pokemon and then you have 6 prizes worth of EXs still, and then you just go.
Yeah, pretty much. That's just how this deck kind of functions. You start with the Sableye. Once that gets knocked out, you don't use any more Sableyes, you just use EXs. I guess Tom was kind of the innovator of that, and it's carrying over into this format.
Yeah, so he gets another Dynamo here. Discards the Tool Scrapper. That's a card that would have been huge. Does he? He did have the Juniper there, but
Yep.
That's going to be a huge advantage for Matt coming into the later turns of this game.
Yeah, I agree. And if he doesn't draw a switch, this Eelektrik is just going to go down, and he'll be left with, a Dynamo. It's going to be really bad for Quinn. See, what happens in these matchups is that maybe the Rayquaza player gets one turn where they blow up a Darkrai with 3 energy, and then just their Electrics get knocked out, and they just can't ever refuel the Dragon Burst again, and then they just end up losing.
Yeah, you really have to get out your board as early as possible before Night Spear starts coming in. Things get really dangerous. It does so much damage for 3 energy, 90, 30, and Rayquazas are they're really just glass cannons if you think about it.
Yeah.
They just kind of get all the lightnings on them, blow them all up, and then, hey, if your support dies, you die with them.
Pretty much, yeah. It's different from like the old Zekrom Eelektrik, where if you knocked out the Electric, at least Zekrom's still had energy on it. You can still attack. Same with like the Mewtwo version. But yeah, it's just totally dependent on always having those Rayquazas in play.
So we do see 2 energies on the Rayquaza. Maybe doesn't look like he has a switch. That doesn't. And then again, nope. Oh, he has a computer search. So
If he has a switch, do you think he plays it?
it depends on his hand. You know, if he doesn't have a supporter, then I think he has to get a supporter. But you would probably hold computer search at that point. So I think he has. I think he goes good for switch and maybe even does 120 here.
Maybe. It wouldn't be a terrible play, honestly, because you could just do
60 next turn, yeah.
Yeah, unless Matt has an Eviolite, then it makes things tricky. But something I just realized, did Matt not attach last turn? He played a Dark Patch and an Energy Switch. Did he actually attach?
He completely missed on energy, so he is a turn behind in terms of energy attachments.
I think he had one in his hand. He might have just forgotten about it.
I think it was more of
Maybe he got off his prize.
Maybe. Also, he might have considered, hey, this is my only dark energy. If a defensive catcher comes up, I might need to retreat one of my 3 Darkrai's I just benched. So,
Could be that too.
yeah, he's just kind of treating the energy as a proxy switch almost.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. It's just, it would be a shame if he would end up missing a turn of Night Spear just because he didn't attach one turn. It's always a possibility.
The beauty of dark patches is a pretty nice thing.
Yeah. Let's see what Matt does. I believe he's used 2 Dark Patches already, so those are starting to run thin. Let's see. He hasn't played a Crushing Hammer yet. I don't know. Do you think if he misses a turn of Night Spear, is he still able to keep up in this game?
Yeah, I think so. You know, this deck is totally reliant on the fire energies of the Rayquaza calls. So with Matt running Crushing Hammer, you know, with a few good flips, he can buy a turn. You really recover his energy drops that way by preventing Quinn from being aggressive. So I think it's still anyone's game, but I think Matt has a little bit of an advantage here.
Now, does Matt have an energy? He hasn't played one yet. So maybe he just doesn't have an energy this turn?
I don't know, he's going through his options. He might be considering, like, hey, I have a catcher.
Oh, yeah.
What do I want to go after the Rayquaza and just hold the catcher for later, or do I want to like maybe take out the Dynamo, go after the Eelektrik, you know, and stack damage that way on the other Rayquazas,
Right.
and maybe save Crushing Hammer for like a really crucial Rayquaza.
Yeah. Now, if he had a catcher, would you play it?
I think so. Yeah, I would. I think the plan A is get rid of all the Electrics on the field as soon as possible, and then plan B is take prizes other ways. So.
Yeah, I don't mind just doing 90 and 32 in Eelektrik either, because you still set up a play where you can catch your 1 Eelektrik and knock out both in 1 turn. And you also set up a Rayquaza later for 2 prizes. Mm-hmm. So I don't mind this either.
Yeah. Quinn showing a lot of desperation with this end. You know, he's kind of realized the gravity of this situation. Like, Rayquaza's about to be knocked out. The Electric's about to be knocked out. That's a 3 prize swing, and he needs that lightning energy fast. And Matt's board isn't looking so bright right now.
Yeah, he will get 5 cards, thankfully. I don't think he had a supporter or anything.
No.
So he's kind of one of those moments where, like, yes, he played on. You get a brand new hand where you thought you were just kind of going to get rolled.
Yeah. If Quinn had just had the lightning energy in his hand to begin with, but he did discard energies with that computer search. So
Yeah, the previous turn, yep.
Mm-hmm. So maybe a little bit.
There's a lightning.
Yep.
And he will get 2 Dynamotors, so he can power up a Rayquaza for the next turn. I think Quinn kind of realizes that this is not a good matchup for me. So he's being like as aggressive as possible, just trying to put pressure on Matt and hoping that he can win that way. Like, just kind of pummel him before Matt can really beat him to the punch.
So if you're Matt, what do you do here?
If you can pull off a Night Spear, you definitely go for that. If you don't, you might have to just retreat, attach somewhere, pass. If you have a catcher, obviously you would try to catch or stall an Eelektrik.
Okay, so assuming Matt can possibly Night Spear this turn, and then has a catcher.
Well, you just take out both Electrics, I think.
Okay, so Yeah, that would be a pretty strong play. You know, at that point, Quinn would only have 2 Rayquazas. One Rayquaza has a fire, one has 2 lightning. It's like maybe if they combined, they could do something. But
I don't think you can fuse in Pokemon.
they're the same type, the same type of Pokemon, same name and everything. It's just like a Rayquaza EX.
4 prizes.
Let's just say 3. Got to keep this balanced.
Oh, okay. Combining 2 Rayquazas is balanced apparently.
So we see an energy on the bench Dark right now and an energy search. So I think we're going to see a Night Spear this turn. It depends on energy switch.
Well, he would need a Dark Patch too. He already attached for the turn.
Did he? Oh.
Yep. So
Okay.
he's still kind of a card short on that, I think. I don't think I saw a supporter either. But there's a Crushing Hammer.
This is going to buy Matt a nice amount of time. So he gets the Crushing Hammer, Tails. At this point, if you don't have a supporter, do you just retreat into the non... Oh, he just passes.
I might have just gone to the Darkrai with no energy, just to give yourself a better chance. Yeah, this is getting very ugly for Matt. This could end pretty soon if he's... I mean, yeah, it could just end pretty soon.
Interesting. Quinn didn't have an energy in his hand to retreat with, so he had to discard the fire energy. So it's almost like Crushing Hammer got heads here. Just a little bit, but you know. So he's starting to stabilize, and yeah. So he's stabilizing the board here, and I think this match is like once Eelektrik sets up, it's almost like a landslide versus anything really.
Every turn you give them to Dynamo or more, that's just another Dragon Burst. And it only takes 3 of those to knock out 3 Darkrai's and you lose. So if you give him 1 or 2 extra turns, that's all it takes. And Quinn does have another Fire there now too. So this is getting ugly. Matt needs to Night Spear this turn to have a shot. Otherwise it's just 2 Dynamotors retreat and the game ends.
Yeah, so we'll see how Matt can possibly get out of this situation.
I don't know if he can. His hand is empty. It just...
It really comes down to N, I think. If he can N, maybe get a... Okay, so here's the Crushing Hammer.
Okay, looks like he gets a heads. I would... I guess you go for the bench one. It's
You
tough.
kind of have to. I think so. He really needs N. If he can N here, that would be huge. But he still has no supporter, so now it just comes down to whether there's a switch.
Okay, so Quinn also needs a lightning, I guess. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there is.
And yeah, Quinn, just like that, he's going to win this first game, which seems like an unfavorable matchup. But Matt just missed a couple Night Spears, and Quinn had a really strong start. That's all there's to it.
Rayquaza pretty good. Rayquaza's pretty good.
Dragon Burst for 180 is pretty good, I suppose. Yeah, especially when you get to do it every turn.
Yeah, that was really, if you think about it, that was like really just 3 Dragon Bursts on 3 Darkrai's is really what did it. The one Sableye knockout was like, it was nice, but it wasn't like...
It wasn't that impactful.
Yeah.
It kind of was because it takes away an energy in play. It prevents like an energy switch and then a Night Spear. So he took the 1 energy on the Sableye out of play, which, I mean, if Matt at any point had an extra energy in play, just to energy switch, he would have been able to Night Spear again. But he was always just that 1 energy short of doing what he wanted.
Well, so they're going into game 2, and they've kind of see what each other's playing. But however, Quinn still hasn't seen any tools from Matt.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll, there's chances maybe he just thinks he doesn't play any tools like Eviolites or Dark Claws, and if that's the case, if those tool scrappers just get discarded, Matt could kind of steal a win almost.
Yeah, definitely. I really do think Eviolite is more important than Dark Claw in this kind of a matchup. Forcing your opponent to discard a 4th energy to knock you out just seems like it's just 1 too many to discard. I mean, if you get 2 Eelektriks into play, then you can realistically Dragon Burst for 180 every turn. But 4 energy every turn, that's probably not happening. So I think the Dark Claw, while it's better against Blastoise, and it might actually be better in a mirror match too, it's actually weaker in this kind of a matchup.
So we see Matt mulliganing, and he will be able to go first this game. So that's going to be a very nice advantage he has going into game 2. And it really just comes down to what he starts with. You know, if he starts with a Sableye, he can kind of it kind of replay the early beginnings of last game. Where, ooh, another interesting note is maybe like you could also like Sableye and Darkclaw for like 30 onto a Dynamo. Yeah, those are always cute plays. Oh, second mulligan.
Yeah, now I feel like Quinn really got as good of a start as he could have hoped for, and just kind of he never hit that lull that a lot of electric decks hit, where like you just kind of miss a beat at some point, like you miss a switch, you miss like a Sky Arrow, you miss an attachment, maybe you miss a supporter one turn. It seems to happen really frequently with the electric decks, but Quinn that game just every turn it was just, hey, I'm just gonna Dragon Burst every turn for 180, and I don't see that happening every one of these games.
So would you say maybe the matchup is totally dependent on the electric?
Yeah, in a lot of ways it is. It can also depend a lot on Crushing Hammer. You know, some of those can be crucial. And how quickly Matt uses Night Spear. If he can catch out the electrics in time. I mean, there's a lot that has to go right for Quinn to win one of these matchups, I think.
Alright, so we do see a Tino and Rayquaza on Quinn's side. I wonder if I always want to see a fabled like T1 Night Spear. I've heard stories about these.
It happened yesterday.
Did it?
Jason did it. He turned 1 Night Spear at someone going first.
I'm assuming he won that game.
Yeah,
the story ends horribly if he lost.
I think the game dragged on for a little bit, but he did end up winning.
Maybe like if you don't like Darkrai, it'll end up in like Triumph. You're just like, yeah, even with turn 1 Night Spear, that card's still not good. Yeah.
Alright, so Matt's going to start off with a Sableye. We have a Dynamo and a Rayquaza. Let's see what he discards for Ultra Ball.
Let's see. So you Ultra Ball here, probably get the Darkrai, and these turns are always really. The opening turns for Darkrai can get really complicated because you want to discard the right cards, especially if you're playing an end. So like you want to make sure you're loaded up for the next turn, things like that.
Yeah. I think something we failed to mention last game is also that Quinn hit a big paralysis flip on that first turn, and it could have been, honestly, game over if Matt just got his turn 2 Night Spear. But the Sableye was paralyzed, so that slowed Matt down a turn. Honestly, I feel like a turn 2 Night Spear is almost game-ending for an electric deck.
Yeah, the one thing that electric needs is time.
Yeah.
If you can not put any pressure on it, ooh.
No, this is what you asked for.
Yeah. This is my kind of game.
That means Matt has nothing. He has no supporters. He has 1 energy. It's ugly, and he's resorting to Confuse Ray for 30.
Hey man, you do what you gotta do.
Quinn level balls for a Spark Dynamo. It's interesting that he even plays that to begin with. I wonder why he would use that instead of all Thunderwave ones.
It's probably a 2-2 split. I mean, like, there's like really, really off situations sometimes that you may need the extra 10, but
sorry, I'm distracted by
yeah,
Guy doesn't take a hint. I don't know what to say. Alright, well, Quinn's going to grab another Dynamo, put it on the bench. Let's see.
I think the one supporter Quinn can't play here is N.
Yeah, if he plays that, I mean, Moss is just going to jump up, I think. Yeah. Probably cross out my name and write Quinn Downs instead on that sheet.
So we see a Sharon coming down, and ooh, 3 Dynamos, turn 1, and I see an electric in his hand. He's pretty loaded, provided he has energy to kind of back this up. However, he's completely abandoning the Dynamo.
Okay, so I guess he's just kind of going for like a sure turn 2 Dragon Burst knockout.
So he did have the end, but he just discards it anyways, and he's Ultra Balling here. I kind of like saving it, making your opponent wonder what's in your hand.
I think he discarded a random receiver, actually.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they all look the same.
Yeah. Well, that just means his hand is even more like loaded than it actually appears to be. And Matt has to know this. Like, he's like, oh man, if you're discarding that, how good is your hand?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, best case scenario is Quinn holds on to an N and discards his random receiver if you're Moss, if he's not thinking about it. So maybe you can cross your fingers and just hope that his supporter's an N, or maybe his hand is just loaded.
I almost feel like there's a Smeargle on the field. I mean, I haven't seen this kind of electric setup since like Nationals or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Moss was crossing his fingers for, well, anything, and he got nothing.
Well, he's at least taking a prize this turn.
Yeah, that's
so,
the one bright spot here.
If Quinn
He headshots the Dynamo.
if Quinn doesn't get he sent up a non-energied Rayquaza. So he's really banking on like.
He's got computer search.
Okay, so that's gonna get the fire energy.
Right, so he needs a switch and electric. Well, he's got electric out there. So he needs a switch and a fire energy.
Probably has a Juniper in his hand.
Or Sky Arrow. That would
Sky
make it
Arrow,
better, actually.
That works.
Oh,
What?
I told you.
Huh.
Held down to the end, not the random receiver. That's,
Interesting.
Moss has got to be jumping for joy for that one.
If this does not work out for Quinn, then Moss could potentially just come right back into this game. It looked really grim from his opening hand. He kind of just went like, oh no, not again. At least I'm getting this time. I'm bringing him down with me.
Yeah, I mean, this could be a big opening. I think only if Quinn misses a fire here. If he gets a knockout on the same line, Moss is still in really bad shape because he's got no energy in play. It'd be pretty difficult to respond with anything the next turn.
Yeah, it's almost like you would have to like just go 3 Sableyes at that point.
Yeah, pretty
and
much.
just kind of hope things can go well. So
let's see, Dynamotors to the Rayquaza and
there's
fire.
the fire.
Slow rolls the fire.
What's gonna get dangerous though if he has like another electric and then like
There you go.
a
Speaking of
catcher?
double.
Yeah, if he has a catcher.
Wow.
We have cycling Rayquazas on turn 2.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Let's be frank. Nothing really beats that in the
Definitely.
entire format.
Nothing can stand up to this. You can say Blastoise all you want, but I think this is hands down the most powerful thing we have in the game. Just a bunch of electrics and just being able to Dragon Burst for 180 every turn. I don't know what stops that.
Yeah, EX's magic number 180. So when you stop it like this, it's so strong.
Yeah. And even next turn, he's setting up. He has 2 electrics. If he just gets a fire, he can just knock out this Darkrai.
Yeah, it's really going to come down to how Moss can come back into this game. So
yeah, it's an uphill battle, without a question. It's just going to be super difficult for Moss to even get a Night Spear off this game. With no energy in play, he doesn't even have anything to give himself free retreat on the active spot. You can only Dark Patch to the bench. He doesn't even have a Dark Patch, I don't think.
So, yeah, he opts to just go the mass Darkrai route.
Yeah.
This could be okay, but I really would have liked to see the more of like mass Sableye approach.
Yep.
You can do a lot of cool things with it, like if you happen to draw a Crushing Hammer, like Matt just did, and then a couple coin flips go your way.
That's part 2 of the strategy. He didn't get that part.
Well, let's face it. Every comeback strategy is, well, if things go your way a little bit.
Well, yeah. I guess that's why you have to come back. Huh?
Yeah. Otherwise, it's a straight even game. Yeah. So.
All right. So Matt only has 1 energy, takes 3 to Night Spear, and Quinn is just getting 2 back every turn with Dynamotor. And with those 2 electrics, he gets 2 lightning back from his discard every turn. This is kind of the beauty of the Rayquaza electric deck. You can see when everything is flowing, it's a well-oiled machine. It just knocks out everything. The problem comes when people just kind of throw a wrench in the gears and knock out your Eelektриks, then it's not as good. But as long, like every turn that Moss doesn't knock out an Eelektrik, it just gets worse and worse.
Yeah, so like if Quinn can reach critical mass with a third Dynamo, then I think it's pretty much game over from that point on.
Yeah.
However, Moss decides to leave the active Darkrai up. I really think this may have been his like first encounter to this deck archetype.
I think so too. I don't like leaving that Darkrai active.
Yeah, because he did this both games, so he thinks this is like the correct play. But yeah, unfortunately, this is what happens.
Yeah, I mean, he might be a little shell shocked at this point. Like, this honestly, this is a great start from Quinn again. He's just kind of again drawing everything he needs. He's just every turn he's not missing a single beat, and I think Moss is just kind of taken aback. It's kind of like, come on, man, give me one break here.
Oh, there's an N,
Okay.
and you know, here we
The
go.
break.
I really think it's going to be like, I think the story for Moss here is, can one Darkrai just go all the way?
Yeah, it's gonna be
He's
tough.
going to lose another Darkrai eventually.
He's gonna catch the Eelektrik. Maybe buy some time that way.
Yeah. This is another way that Moss can come back here. You know, like, look at Quinn's discard. It's really not that big.
Yeah, that's true.
He's getting N down to 3. His deck is huge. This is like the prime like situations you don't want to be in. Like by the time you get to 3 prizes, you actually want your deck to be like maybe 20 cards or less.
Yeah, exactly. This is it can actually backfire taking too many prizes early on. When N is in the format, it's just too easy for you to get N down to like 2, 3 cards, sometimes even 1, and then you just draw the Ultra Ball you never got to play.
Yeah. So it's really going to come down to this. I think Moss is just kind of going, what can I do here? I would really like to see him retreat this Darkrai.
Me too. I mean, if he could retreat and then have a Dark Patch, I think he could be happy with that turn.
Yeah,
Just to get an extra energy out there.
Either way, he needs an energy switch to a Night Spear next turn. So no matter what happens.
Okay, so he's getting a Dark Patch to the bench one.
Alright, so now it really doesn't matter. They both got energy.
Yeah, so he really just has to pray that Quinn does not have a switch. It's a switch and a lighting.
So we might see another Dark Patch. Yeah, so he gets a Dark Patch.
He shows it first, then he goes, oh yeah, I don't have to show you.
You know, I guess we're a little bit conditioned on revealing search targets. So when it's like, oh, I can grab anything and not show it, that's just weird.
Yeah. Is his last card an energy switch?
It might be.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
He's all in.
this is like the perfect 6 if you think about it. Like this couldn't have gone better. This is so strong.
He's completely all in at this point.
Well, he was completely all in from like turn 2 as soon as that Rayquaza came
He better
smashing down.
You better hope the next card is a supporter, or the one in his hand is a supporter.
So we're going to see another Dynamo probably come down. Yep, there it is. And Quinn is just going to try to get back onto the rails and see what happens.
Yeah, I think if Matt has a catcher here, he might be in good shape. Take out that Eelektrik. Would you go for the Dynamo or the Eelektrik if you have a catcher?
It depends. Like if Quinn keeps the Fire Rayquaza active, I might go after the Dynamo because then he just has to get a Fire. But like, oh, okay. So I see what Quinn's doing here. He's kind of saying, yeah, he's gonna do 60 here, and then he's gonna do 120 with a Fire energy that he may or may not draw.
Yeah, or even a switch.
Yeah. So at this point,
Okay, we gotta see what Matt drew. He got a dark off his prize.
I think I would go after the Eelektrik here.
Yep.
You really just need to shut that down.
Yeah, that's what I think too. If you can take that off, cut that off, you might actually just put the game onto Celestial Roar, just off the deck.
You know, also like best case scenario, like for Matt, is that Dynamo just never evolves. So you know the 30 you put on the Dynamo can later lead up to a knockout.
Oh, he's actually gonna put down a Sableye here.
Ah. So I like this move. He's going to be able to get catcher back and random receiver. Even if he draws random receivers into end, that's still a good card.
Yeah.
This is a very nice play.
Yeah, I like this, because he can afford to give up Sableye, right? He's already given up 2 single prizes?
One single prize.
Oh,
So,
I'm looking at the wrong board.
yeah.
See, it's a little risky. You know, if Quinn has the fire, then all he has to do is knock out one more Darkrai and he has the fire.
Oh, then that's... Ooh. Well, that's actually okay.
Oof, and an N.
I mean, like, that's kind of bad for Moss. However, he's still in the game. Like, I still kind of thought this game was going to come down to, like, oh, it's going to be lone Darkrai versus the world. And it kind of is, but Moss can come back from this, you know. Like, another two dark patches, or even just one.
Yeah, Dark Patch Energy Switch.
Yeah, with the attachment.
He 100% needs to knock out Eelektrik this following turn.
Yeah.
If he can't pull that off, it's just, it's too much, I think.
Another situation he could run into is maybe Catcher and then like Catcher the Eelektrik and then Crushing Hammer fires or even the Dynamo or whatever into Oblivion. But so yep, we see another Rayquaza just getting in there.
That's crazy. I've never seen Rayquaza Dragon Burst so frequently in my life.
Well, we're seeing it here.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really do anything against that sometimes, but yeah, so Sableye is a really interesting like option. He can do so many things for Matt here. The discard's full of trainers.
The problem for Matt is that there's a fire and a lightning on the bench for Rayquaza EX. So if he leaves the Sableye up, he just loses.
Yeah, it's really going to come down to like maybe Matt like knocking out the Eelektrik or keeping it stuck there with an N. Who knows what could happen.
Now, an interesting thing is he can actually energy switch now, and if he had a supporter, he could play it, because the Sky Arrow gives him free retreat.
That is interesting.
So if he like had a Juniper and an energy switch, or I see he has an energy switch, if he has an N, he can actually play the energy switch first. I wonder if he'll notice that.
It looks like he realizes it.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, you're retreating for free? Hey, my guy also has one retreat. How about that?
Yeah, and he should definitely bench the Sableye. There's no harm in that anymore. You already have one out there. Not like you play Super Scoop Up or anything.
So he random receivers, just really thinning his deck out.
Yeah.
Because he has an N in his hand, and he's just going to use it.
Do you use the N or the Juniper here?
Oh, you totally go for the N.
I mean, getting the Night Spear here is such a big deal, though. It's a difference. I guess you go for the N.
It is, but like...
If you give him one more turn to Dynamo around the Rayquaza, it could be just the one that ends you.
Yeah, however, there's also the case where maybe Quinn already has Catcher in his hand and the game's actually just over.
Yeah, that's true.
So...
it's a tough spot no matter what.
Yeah, I think the N is the better play because at least then you're limiting Quinn's options down and, you know, maybe you can get lucky.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets a Night Spear off of this, he is in fantastic shape, I think, to come back. I mean, it's not, like, over, but that's incredible if he can knock out this Eelektrik this turn. You don't even know what Quinn's going to get.
So he's looking, Matt kind of realizes what's going on, and he looks at his hand one at a time and goes, okay, did I do it? Did I do it? And maybe
An energy search.
Energy Search. All he needs is a Dark Patch now. If he has it, then that's a fantastic like situation that kind of turned around for Moss.
I don't know if he does, though. I think he probably would have been a little more excited by now.
Well, maybe he's just weighing out his options.
He does have a Crushing Hammer, too.
If he can get the Crushing Hammer heads, then I think maybe you can Junk Hunt here.
Yeah, maybe. So here we go. He got a heads.
Yeah. So
all right.
That's the fire. Yeah. So now we're gonna see like Junk Hunt for like Crushing Hammer and maybe a supporter or energy or maybe the energy switch. Get it back onto the Darkrai next turn.
Yeah. Even a Dark Patch is fine.
So let's see here. There's so many options. You know, you can get a Catcher again. Say like Quinn finds a switch.
I might grab a Crushing Hammer, honestly.
Yeah, I'm like, so for the second card,
Might grab 2, honestly.
does he have 2 in the discard?
He might. I think he failed one early on.
Okay, so it really depends on Matt's hand then. I think 2 would be like a cool move to do. Like, hey, your fires. They're not sticking around.
I saw there was a Juniper in his hand, so odds are he's going to get a Night Spear next turn, even if he doesn't grab a Dark Patch or an Energy Switch.
Yeah, I do like 2 Crushing Hammers here.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I think he knows he needs at least one. That's his way to come back here. But it's going to be close. And, of course, it all depends on what Quinn draws off of this.
Yeah, for all we know, like, maybe Quinn's holding, like, a switch, and the game is actually, like, switch and just draws into Lightning Energy, and the game's actually just over.
Yeah.
But he opts for the Dark Patch and Catcher. Interesting.
Okay. So, it's Quinn get a top deck.
So, those are the hands of confidence. You know, when you're like when you're end to 1 and you're moving that quick.
I think he's moving a fire to the front, so it might actually be a super rod.
Well, that fire was there from the beginning.
Oh, yeah, never mind.
So,
Okay, Dynamotor 1.
all right. So he puts it on the second guy. Oh, and passes. Oh, okay.
Maybe Moss is in business.
So we did see a Dark Patch. And we're going to see a nice attack here.
I honestly feel like this could come down to Celestial Roar. I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen between then, but
maybe
there's a chance that it could just come down to what comes off the top of the deck with a Celestial Roar.
Maybe. I mean, like, when it comes, like, normally I wouldn't advise using a Celestial Roar. It usually backfires.
Oh, Crushing Hammer.
Ooh, this is going to be a big one. Correctly identifies that to discard the Lightning Energy. You know, that's going to be huge because now Quinn just can't randomly draw fire.
And here we go. Celestial Roar's coming, I think.
This could be one of the a really good comeback from the Darkrai
Definitely.
deck.
I mean, this is looked like he was done for. He just, he was in like one of the worst situations you could ever be in. And now here he is. I mean, I don't know what's in Quinn's hand. He's got 2 cards. I wonder what those 2 are. It could be anything. And he can still top deck anything, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, Eelektrik.
That is such a big card to draw.
So now he needs a...
Now Moss will need a catcher, probably.
Yeah.
And he needs to dodge Celestial Roar, I think.
Also, if Quinn has a Lightning in his hand, that could be, like, devastating.
Yeah, he didn't play... Oh, he didn't even Celestial Roar either. Wow.
Well, maybe he's like... Maybe he's a... I don't know. He just doesn't want to, I guess. It's so hard to, like, make that call. Because, you know for sure, most of the time, Celestial Roar is just going to miss. You know, you look at the top 3, you discard everything, because you just don't see any energy cards. So Quinn probably knows that, and...
You gotta wonder if Quinn's holding on to a catcher in his hand. If this Eelektrik lives one more turn, then he can just Dynamotor and win the game, knocking out Sableye.
Maybe. It really comes down to if Matt has the catcher.
Yeah.
Another, like, huge play would be, like, Eviolite or a Dark Claw. Like, both would be, like, great. Dark Claw, hits the Rayquaza for 110, puts it in 2-shot range.
I mean, honestly, what I'm thinking is, if you have a catcher, do you risk it and just hit the Rayquaza? And then next turn, you could take a 3-prize turn and win the game.
No, I think it's much... I would probably just, be patient. Matt's deck is really thin.
I wonder how many catchers he has left.
I think I see one in his hand.
Yeah.
Gets the Eviolite.
Oh, that's such a
big card. Big card.
Yeah, I think now you would definitely catch the Eelektrik if you have it.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. And might be time to roar.
You really want to see that?
Hey man, it's the most exciting thing you can ever watch. What's coming off those 3 cards? You don't know. Could be 3 energy and he just loses.
Could be 3 trade, like supporters.
Could be 3 catchers and he just loses the game for himself.
The ultimate double edge, which usually ends up in actually like killing yourself.
Alright, so here we go. Night Spear, this game is super, super close, honestly.
Here we go.
And at any point, Quinn could just top tick a Juniper, get a Lightning and a catcher, or even a Fire and a catcher, and win the game.
Both are completely viable. And he might be going for the roar.
Oh no, here we go.
He went for the roar.
2, Oh, we
Ooh,
got
got
a
the fire. This is
Boss
huge.
is like, wait, what attack is that?
He's reading it.
That's actually not that bad unless Quinn has a catcher, of course.
Yeah, Quinn has catcher. The game is actually over.
Yeah, and if Moss has an N here, does he play it?
I think you have to, because if you think about it, like,
It's 4 cards in the hand.
yeah, maybe like you wouldn't play catcher until you had a knockout anyway, so he could be clutching it for so long.
Yeah, so it's all going to come down to this. Does Quinn have a catcher or not?
Yeah, I really think you just end here and then kind of hope for the best.
And we'll see if Matt has one. He's got a random receiver.
Okay.
So we'll see if he has one.
Yeah, we'll find out very quickly.
Let's see. This is going to come down to the wire.
All right, so he night
Oh,
spears.
he's just going for it. Does
He
Quinn have
just
a catcher?
figures. Okay.
It's all on this. Is there a catcher?
And ooh, this is not the like draw of confidence. He like, ooh, we could be
Now-
going to game 3.
If Matt does not have a catcher, it's not over yet. There's only 120 damage on the Rayquaza. So here's another Celestial Roar and a big whiff.
Here it comes. Does Matt have catcher for the win?
I don't know how many he's played. This might be one more turn of.
You know, with Junkon, it's like it's hard to keep track of how many catchers has been played. You know,
Yeah.
you keep picking them back up, you keep putting them back down. He's kind of assessing how many catchers he has himself.
And you can just give Quinn one more turn to draw a catcher. And it's just. Next turn for sure. It's just it.
Yeah, this game is soon to be over. Someone's gonna win.
Yeah. I mean, both guys are going to feel heartbroken if they lose. I mean, for Matt, this is like an epic comeback. For Quinn, it just feels like he had the game.
There's a catcher in the
There's a
deck.
catcher. Matt has a Juniper, I think. Does he? Oh, he's got an N.
Ooh, he has to play down everything and then just go for it.
Wow. I wonder if he can actually play everything down and then drop both cards.
Well, he has a maybe. I think he can.
He has
get
an enhanced hammer that he can't play.
Okay.
So he's got like a 2 and 3 shot.
Can he play anything else? Random receiver again.
It's 2 out of 3 shot. Or maybe. Oh, Bianca. Okay, he's
Okay.
got it. Oof, wow. Matt Moss ties the series up 1-1 after an epic comeback. I cannot believe he actually won that game.
Yeah, I was like, I saw the situation. I was like, there's no way. There's no way Matt's gonna come back.
Yeah.
You know, this is just gonna be a repeat of game 1. How can like any deck handle that quick
I
of
don't
a
understand.
Rayquaza rush?
He was down so much. The setup, the prizes. He was down in every single aspect of the game. Anyone. Sometimes I just don't understand Pokemon.
You know, there's some like N is like a really like powerful card.
Yeah. I mean, I guess N and Crushing Hammer are your 2 comeback cards in the format. And
Yeah.
when you got both, I suppose you can come back.
You know, when you play N, and then it opens the door for really like crazy situations where one player is in a mad dash to try and stabilize and equalize the game,
Yeah.
and the other player is just trying to like finish the other his opponent off. It's a really interesting dynamic that happens
Oh, yeah.
pretty much in a lot of the games that are in today's format.
Yeah, I mean, Darkrai, it makes matchups exciting. It just feels like it's a card that, for some reason, it always has really close games with everything.
It's you know, Night Spear math can get a little tricky sometimes. You know, you have to like predict. You have to predict where you want to put the damage, where damage will be important in the future. So it's
Sorry, I can't stop looking at that sign.
yeah.
Especially that he made the a heart.
Well, that just means he really
it's true love.
loves you, like really, really.
Alright, so I'm excited to see the third game. Quinn obviously will go first. I mean, that's a big advantage in itself. Being able to evolve your Electrics before someone can Night Spear. Well, I guess technically you could Night Spear turn 1, but realistically, turn 2 is when you're expecting a Night Spear to come at the soonest. So being able to have a turn to evolve, as opposed to having a Dynamo knocked out before you can evolve, that's a big deal.
I'm still not sure this turn 1 Night Spirit even exists. I mean, I've heard stories, but until I like see it with my own 2 eyes, these are still just stories. You know.
So going into this third game, who do you think has the advantage?
It's hard to say. You know, the player going first always has the advantage, like just inherently with the way the game is played. But it could go either way, really. If he gets to the late game, I think it's just gonna come down to N again. However, Quinn has drawn well both games, and you know, historically, Eelektrik kind of run out of steam.
It's a shiny Rayquaza. That's gonna put a lot of pressure on Matt right off the gates.
Yeah, it will, but like, you know, could be like an opening for Matt. Like, hey, maybe Quinn won't get that many Dynamos and play turn 1. You know, or maybe if he uses Dragon Pulse, which does 40 to the Sableye, maybe the top 2 cards that get discarded are like Fire Energies, other Rayquazas, supporters.
Even something like a Switch.
Yeah, there's, you know, deck lists are so well polished at this point that any card you discard to Dragon Pulse is like a blow, other than Lightning Energy.
Now, the problem is that he can do 40 and then 40 and knock out Sableye. And it can leave Moss in that awkward situation where all he has is a Darkrai with 1 energy on it, which makes it really tough to Night Spear the next turn.
You know, he's already gone through 2 games of that. I'm sure a third game won't change much.
Yeah, but it's going to be the third game of, you know, Quinn being aggressive early on. And that seems to be the key for him. You know, a lot of the Rayquaza Eelektrik decks, when people play it, they just sit back and then just try to, like, get a big Rayquaza and then eventually get one-hit knockouts. Whereas Quinn is just kind of saying, I'm just going to do damage when I can. I'm going to take prizes when I can. I'm going to be as aggressive as I can. I'm going to take the fight to you first.
And it's proved out to work pretty well. Like, I mean...
Oh, he just Ultra Ball the way 2 Ultra Balls.
Ooh, that's huge. But he does have level balls still.
And he played a level ball.
Well, you know, Juniper is a pretty nasty card.
Yeah, he's got Computer Search, too.
Yeah, he's probably going to Juniper this turn. I can't really see him doing anything other than that, at least for his supporter.
And gets rid of a Super Rod.
He's kind of going all in on this turn. There's like no hope of recovery.
Yeah.
If with like the Super Rod discard is actually a
And if he
huge
uses
card.
Dragon Pulse, he discards 2 more cards.
Like if this is like huge because okay, so he's not going to go for it. But
Alright, so he Computer Searches for a Sky Arrow. Kind of a strange card to Computer Search for. I guess it's very important once you have the full setup to just have free retreat on your Rayquazas.
yeah, that's a big part of the puzzle. You know, Rayquaza, the Eelektrik deck is really it's a weird setup deck. It's not really. It's more like a combo deck.
Yeah.
You know, you need all your working pieces flowing together in order to really abuse how powerful Rayquaza is.
Yeah. Hey, Sky Arrow improves the chance of a turn 1 Night Spear, by the way.
Yes, it does.
Just saying.
Tell you what, if there's a turn 1 Night Spear, we can pretty much just, like... I don't even know what to put on this wager, because like, I just feel like I auto-win it.
Alright, so Matt is just attaching to his Sableye here.
Alright, if there's still a turn 1 Night Spear.
Oh, he puts down another Sableye and ends. What do you think about that?
I think he's kind of, you know, he's taken 2 games to really learn the matchup. The first game, it almost was like he just didn't really know how to handle this. You know, it's Matt, you know, kind of came out of retirement for the marathon, right?
Yeah. So
he's learning on the go, and he just kind of goes, "Hey, this deck hasn't seen a lot of play in the format. So I actually have no idea what I'm doing versus it." And he's kind of assessed, like, you know what's really good versus you? Crushing Hammer. You know what you discarded to get back your fire energies? Super Rod.
That is true.
So, like, as soon as the Super Rod, I think the Super Rod discard is what triggered this play.
It could be, yeah. I was thinking more along the lines of he's just afraid of being benched out, so he just wanted to put down another Pokemon. But that's another way to look at it, yeah.
So, okay, so it really comes down to can Mac draw like Crushing Hammer or things like that? But he's going for the Confusion Flip.
Yeah, it's never, not usually a good sign.
I think it's like it's okay sometimes. Like sometimes your the trainers in your discard are actually just like
There's two
non-desirables. Man, what is going on with this game? This is 3 games in a row. We've just seen like
He discards a switch and an N. It's
Ooh.
important to note that the shiny Rayquaza has a 3 retreat cost. So
Yeah.
he's going to have to pay 2 to retreat with a Sky Arrow or a switch. And one of his switches is gone, and he didn't play a supporter that turn. So Moss could still have some time here.
I still think if he can somehow get a Crushing Hammer cycle going, the game actually might be over. You know, like I said, Rayquaza Eelektrik is pretty much a combo deck. And if any of your pieces are gone, the combo just is like either weakened to the point where it just doesn't matter anymore, or it's just terrible, like
Yeah.
just bad.
This could be a big turn for Matt. He's got a Juniper, he's attached a Dark. I mean, if he could pull off a Night Spear this turn and knock out an Eelektrik.
Yeah, so it could happen. You know, that's another huge thing. Again, the Super Rod discard. You know, you can almost not stress it enough that like it is so huge for the Eelektrik to have Super Rod ready and available. And you know, every Dynamo, every Eelektrik that goes down from here on out, they are gone forever.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
unless he plays 2.
yeah, we're assuming he only plays 1.
Yeah.
Most people only play 1. I've seen people play 2, though, so I won't rule it out, I guess. But, yeah, discarding Super Rod. At the very least, it's going to make it more difficult to find Super Rod.
So we're gonna see. Okay, so Matt goes kind of disregarding the. You don't actually have to show your opponent these
This
cards.
reminds me of when, it's just kind of a new card in the format where, remember when Twins first came out? People
Yes.
would always show their 2 cards initially.
I do, and it was just like, oh, well, you didn't have to do that, but I guess thanks.
Oops, so we got an Eevee from Matt. I wonder if he does have an energy switch.
Oh,
And
there's a catcher.
Jeez.
Oh, he's picking the time. Oh, he just. Now that's an interesting thing because like then he can go, hey, I don't want the Dynamo with Thunder Wave going into the discard. You know, it's not like Celebi EX is just gonna fly onto the field and go, hey, Thunder Wave.
All right, so this is a strong spot for Matt. He's going to be able to knock out 1 Eelektrik. And then, where does he put the 30?
At this point, I think
Rayquaza? The shiny one?
if you have the catcher, you put on the Rayquaza shiny. Yeah, I like that one. Maybe the EX, but it's not too big of a deal between the 2 of those. Either way, like realistically, Rayquaza EX is still a 2-shot.
Yeah.
And
He just Dragon Burst for 100. Wow.
no supporter either. This game is like quickly falling apart for Quinn.
Yeah, now it could quickly fall apart for Matt, too, if... Oh, he has a Juniper, never mind. I think he just drew that Juniper, too. He had an N before.
This is really the Darkrai we're used to seeing, though.
Oh, yeah. This is the Matt Moss we're used to seeing here.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, if he has a catcher, he just goes for the Eelektrik. If he doesn't, though, Quinn can have a switch and a lightning, and then knock out this Darkrai, which would be a big deal. It would leave Moss in a weird spot. He does have a Dark Patch, though, so I guess it wouldn't be that bad.
Plus, with Sky Arrow, those stabilize still have free retreat, so he can just send that up, be fine. And I think he's in like perfectly fine shape.
Yeah, I agree.
Even if the Rayquaza like knocks out Darkrai, which it still can't. It still needs to get rid of the tool. It still needs a tool scrapper and like 2. It needs 2 energies on it because it blocked 20 beforehand.
Yep. Well, he just needs to do 100 again, I guess.
Yeah. But that's still a lot.
Yeah, he needs a switch and a lightning this turn.
So this is interesting. So he kind of realizes, hey, that.
We could shred too. Forgot about that one.
Yep, we did.
Shred goes through Eviolite, so that will be a knockout.
Yeah.
How could I forget? That was my deck.
Yeah. You used to play 4 of them in one Electric deck.
Yeah, you can see the power of Shred.
And Moss is like,
Moss is like, hey, I got Eviolite, and Quinn says no. Goes through it. Oh, Moss promoted the
oh, I
Dark.
forgot about it.
That could end up costing him the game.
Yeah.
Because he does have a Dark Patch in his hand.
Yeah, that's huge.
he's just he forced himself to have an extra card, or to use an extra card, I guess. Oh, that was a big mistake by Moss.
Yeah. So here we go. Ultra Ball.
This card's a Mewtwo.
Probably, yeah, it gets another Darkrai.
If he misses a Night Spear here, this is big. It opens up a huge door for Quinn to come
Well,
back.
you know, no Crushing Hammers have still been played. If he has like another Juniper,
He does have one in his hand.
yeah. So there's still a lot of options for Matt here.
Yeah, so, Moss definitely should have promoted Sableye. It is free retreat. He can Dark Patch to the Darkrai that already has the energy on it.
I think he's kind of realized that too.
Probably.
Yeah.
Die rolls off the table. Matt gets up and goes to get it.
So
He says it was a 2.
and it's still a heads. Yeah, so
At the very least, you gotta love Matt's theatrics. He makes the games entertaining.
so he discards the one on the active. Would you have gone for the one on the EX maybe instead, or do you just go, hey, that's still within one Night Spear anyways?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you whiff, the harsher thing is to get a shred for 90 in your face.
So a big, we just had time get called.
Oh,
So Matt is now turn 0, and he's taking a prize.
he's gonna tie it up actually.
Yeah, but there's +3 here. So he's getting a prize. He's putting.
Oh,
He's going for the Eelektrik. I like this play. You know,
I actually don't know how much I like that play.
I would have yeah. I mean, like it's okay. It's not too bad. At the very least, he's cutting off Quinn's resources.
Yeah, I'll explain why I don't like it. This doesn't set up like a double knockout next turn, and it allows Quinn to get a shred in next turn maybe. And he's promoting Rayquaza, so I thought he was confident he had a fire or something. But if he would just
And he forfeits the game. He realizes he can't.
Scoops. Wow,
Yeah.
just like that.
He realizes his hand. Remember, he hasn't been playing supporters, so he sees the situation. My hand's dead. I'm losing my attacker.
I'm speechless. I'm
There's
surprised-
literally nothing that he can
I'm
do.
surprised he wouldn't just play it out. But
Well,
I
you
mean,
know,
if he knows he can't win,
if he
bye-bye.
can't take a prize this turn, then all that happens is Matt just night spears and the game's over.
Wow. So Matt Moss
Yeah.
advances to the top 4.
Wow, in a very exciting fashion, like you said, Darkrai makes for some exciting games.
Yeah, sure does.
Game 1 was you just saw everything fall apart for Matt, and then game 2 he clawed his way back, and then game 3 was an overwhelming victory. So it was a fun series.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, at the very least, Matt Moss, he's going to make things entertaining for you. That's just kind of his personality, too. Everyone loves being around him. He's kind of always laughing, making jokes, and just like that, he made that pretty exciting, too. And he's going to continue his run into the top 4. I don't think, Matt has just started playing again. I don't think many people expected him to make a deep run in a tournament just yet, but hey, he doesn't care. He's doing it himself.
Yeah, I mean, he's also had 2 tournaments worth of practice.
Yeah.
And, Pokemon's a game where if you were good in the past, it's kind of like riding a bike. You just gotta, shake the rust off. You gotta
Kind of.
learn the new format a little bit. And, I think enough time's passed, and he's back in business.
Yeah, I gotta hand it to Matt. I'm pretty sure he had no idea what Quinn's deck did, and he still figured it out.
Yeah.
In the middle of the game, he just kind of looked at the Rayquaza EX and he was like, "What does that do? Celestial what?" And then Shred that probably caught him off guard too.
Yeah, he was
but,
the Eviolite, he was like,
yeah.
oh, okay. Yeah.
So I gotta hand it to Matt. Well played by Quinn too. He did a great job. But Matt, this is just his day, I guess.
Yeah, he's been on a roll. He goes 5-0, and then he lost the next 2, but still made it in. And then he lost the first game of the top. So he went like an 0-3 streak, but then came back strong.
I know. I don't. Darkrai Crushing Hammer, pretty good.
Yeah, it won yesterday too. So maybe BDIF. Who knows?
Who knows? We'll find out. We'll see if Matt keeps winning. But that's going to wrap up the top 8 here. Kyle Sucevich here with Michael Pramawat. And we'll be back for the top 4 shortly. We'll see who we got playing. And we will be right back.
See you then.